Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's video. In this one, we have a very interesting guest and an old friend of mine, George, who is producing under the artist name Floog, originally from Romania. Um,
Hi guys, nice to meet you.
he's an old friend of mine. So, George, maybe for people who come across you for the first time, could you maybe introduce yourself, your musical background, um, please?
Yeah, it's my name is Miss George. I started doing music as Georgie with Living Robbie back in 2003 or something. We had the project called Monochrome, more like in a progressive house. Then the minimal movement started, like techno minimal and house. We had a simple project called Living Robbie featuring Georgie, and then we went to Premier School. And after Premier School, basically in the same time, I started my solo career as Floog from 2016 or something. Yeah, and now it's my only project, active project, Flug. So yeah, this is the in the very short my background,
Mm-hmm.
musical background.
And you have been doing a lot of obviously live sets and performances.
Yeah, so mostly less 1 year in all these 20 years or something of career, I did just live acts.
Hmm.
Starting with my solo Georgie in the beginning, then with Monochrome, then with Premier School, we had a setup that was hardware based, no computers.
Hmm.
Then I had my live rig for Flug, and I use Ableton, but also hardware. So in all these years, I had just 1 year of DJing
Hmm.
in 2003, I think. Yeah, and now I'm coming back to I came back to live act because I feel this is my way of doing it. I'm more like to play with my own music, and I feel a little bit let's say a bit boring for me to just stay and search for music, and I prefer to do it for myself and play it. That's
That's
just
Yeah, that's very interesting because normally, from the majority of cases, I see that people first start with DJing and then they kind of venture into live sets. But that's very interesting to hear that you are.
yeah, because I'm coming basically as I enter into the clubbing scene because I like doing music and I like electronic music. So I came from 90s Depeche Mode. Basically, that was my introduction to be serious about music. So then all the time I look for a way to express myself with my music, because I started to do like experimenting kind of electronic music, and clubbing scene give me the opportunity to be closer to what I was into it. So I always chase to make music, and then I realized that is you need also to perform your music for people to know you and to express yourself, because otherwise it will be just 1000 tracks into a computer, nobody knows about those tracks.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
And lately, you've been kind of getting into plugins and that sort of more digital related workflow. And you sent me to try Baza drums a month ago, which is it's a very interesting VST AU plugin, and I had a lot of fun programming some very interesting drum patterns on Ableton with it. Would you maybe like
Nice to hear.
to, yeah, give us a short kind of introduction about what was the idea behind it and just
Yeah.
what it is basically?
So I start with the beginning, basically around 2014, I think. We had two main major projects, Living Robbie and Premier School, and in some point the guys were touring a lot, and Premier School stayed at home, and I need to start doing music by myself, or like making the sketches for Premier School, and
Hmm.
the guys were always more into the groovy side of the songs. I was more into the melody stuff.
Yeah.
So then I start programming drums, and I realized it's so boring to go into folders of one shots and programming the patterns and so on. And
Yeah.
then Because of this, I said, what if I will start automate a lot of stuff that is the boring stuff of it, you know? And then I made a system with Max for Life that I introduce all my patterns that I did for Premiere School, um, and combine them in a way that with the press of a button I generate a lot of new fresh patterns based on the old patterns that I
Mm-hmm.
had, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I advanced with Max for Life after a few years, because this was like really like a long process, like almost 10 years,
Yeah.
I found some plugins that generate um, samples. I mean, choose the samples based on tags, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
kicks, snares, and so on. So in the end, I made like a system around 2019, the beginning of 2019, basically. Start doing music starting from that sketch that I had with generating grooves, like very functional patterns and proper one shots that are fitting with the pattern, you know, because this is also very important.
Yes.
And because of this, I was curious to find another collaborators for my project, because in my head was that this can have like a commercial potential. Honestly, my goal, and still it is to make like a groove box based on these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And searching for collaborators, I found my actual partner, Michael Gans, that is coming from Berlin. He's a very experienced programmer from the late 80s. It's like a real programmer hero of C++. And I was very pleased to hear that he was into this type of things. He had a generator also for drums, but also for bass, that we will have it in some point for in our set of products.
Mm-hmm.
He agreed to collaborate on this, you know, to make a joint venture and to start doing something together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, pandemic came with good and bads, and we had some time to work on it, and we started to make the sketches of some, let's say, like devices. We didn't know that the device will become like plugin like now, because our plan was that this code to be used into a Groovebox, like in the proper machine. The helpful part was that we create these sketches, and now we started to use those codes. And the first product that we have is this the drum pattern generator. So it's this pattern generator is based on a lot of patterns that I made in all my career.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got inspired from another styles of music like Latino, like rock, like electro, and other types of styles. So that's why the plugin has 20 models,
Okay.
and also a combination with these more styles of music.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to emphasize and to call the models. If you want, I can open the plugin.
Yes,
And
please. Let's have a look.
yes.
Okay, so now that we have the plugin open, yeah, maybe you can walk us through a little bit on the
Mhm.
layout and the functions.
Okay, so basically, this is a plugin that is working in DOS. It's a VST2, VST3, and AU. It's working for all major DOS, including Pro Tools. That it's a little bit special, but it's also working with that. Um, what is doing basically is a MIDI pattern generator. It's not producing sound by itself. You need to make like a small routing, a very easy routing. So you just drag the plugin into the channel, into a MIDI channel, and then the flux of the MIDI channel, you send it into any drum kit, sampler, drum machine, whatever. You know, in Ableton, I just put a drum kit generator that we speak about later.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the the Baza drum has 11 instruments.
Mm-hmm.
It's matching the layout of the TR-909, because we felt this is the most classical uh, drum machine possible and layout.
Of course.
So you have this kick, snare, hi hats, toms, rim shot, clap, cowbell, and cymbals. But obviously, for example, instead of toms, you can use percussions. Rim shot, you can use Clive. Um, um, for example, here in the cowbell, also some percussions
Mm-hmm.
or agogo or Clives as well. and the symbols, rides and so on, everything that have like these crashes and so on.
So quite customizable, basically. You're not.
Yeah, it's customizable, also because of the type of patterns that you send, but also you have this option of sending the notes.
Mhm,
So now this is calibrated for drum rack in Ableton, and for 909, and for Roland TR8, TR8S, TR1000, the newly one. So basically we work by default with them.
mhm.
But if you have like a special drum rack or drum module or a special drum machine that has different notes, here you have the option to change the notes. So then you calibrate it very easy. With your ear, you send a kick and you hear it, and it's very easy to reach to the those particular notes on different keys on the
Right,
on the on the drum kit. Um, yeah, so you have 20 models.
right.
First one is a house techno inspired. It's
Mhm,
like the classical one. The second one is neck break, is basically inspired by breakbeat. And the other ones, I will let you to explore. There are a lot of like how minimal house, hip hop. You have Latino, you have electro, and so on. And the combination between them. Um, why I didn't want to write the names of the exactly of the styles of music, because I feel this is sounds a bit too commercial, and I don't want
right.
to impose any style of music to say like house cat it's a proper house music, or breakbeat or snake break it's a proper breakbeat. It's this is this plugin is more for experimentation and to because anyway we live times that the music is really like it's a mix of styles. It's
Definitely.
very it's very hard now to say this is just house, this is just techno.
And also,
So
this way you can maybe have some interesting combinations and some kind of lucky accidents. You may not think of it
exactly.
that way, but you come across a really good group that fits
Exactly,
the
because
idea.
the plugin is not made to have like proper patterns that you can also download from somewhere.
Right.
The concept behind the plugin is that it's using AI, but in a very like very simple kind of way. Is not thinking to GPT.
Hmm.
And then everything was curated by us, and we use also algorithmic stuff to make it easier for people to use. So basically, you don't have to think about anything. You just put a plugin, you put a drum rack, and you start playing with it, and you generate patterns. And then when you like something, you have a very simple option. I will start with this because I really want to show to people this.
Yeah, and can I just ask you before we start? So,
Yeah,
could you maybe name one or even two things which you think are unique to this specific plugin, and then maybe we can start and see how it works in
yeah.
practice?
So for the moment, from my knowledge, there are no plugins that are having this fidelity in generating the patterns. So there are two options right now. There are pattern generators in different plugins that they generate patterns, but the quality of the patterns are really low from
Hmm.
my standard. And there are another types of plugins and Max for Live devices that are basically combining existing patterns. So they have like a bank of kick patterns, a bank of snare patterns, a bank of hi hats, and so on. And through randomization, is combining those patterns to create new patterns.
Right.
This is nothing wrong, but is really limited. And honestly, when you combine, like force combining this type of patterns together, is not necessarily the outcome will be very good all the time. In
Right.
this case, the AI helping you with this, because we train it with thousands of patterns. So the patterns were really used in songs. So when you put them together, the AI knows how to combine them, and when generate something, they are really really good. Actually, the best feedback that I got is from the user that already bought the plugin,
Hmm.
and basically all of them told me like, "Wow, it's so good! You can generate really really good patterns, like really, like you can use it directly into a song. You don't have to change them or something.
Right. So it's a little bit
So
smarter and less
exactly,
mechanical, more intuitive.
exactly, and also it's very vast. So basically,
Yes.
with just one model, you can have millions of options.
Mm.
It's not limited to just combining again a few patterns and to because you have a lot of parameters that you can use. For example, you have this variation that you have many variations. When you generating, you generate 8 variations, so you can basically let the plugin play one variation after the other one and combine them, and then this creates more variety and yeah.
So
What
shall
can I?
we see it in
Yeah,
action?
yeah,
Everything sounds very
yeah.
interesting. I'm looking forward to
Let's
see.
do it. Yeah, let's do it like this. So let me close the base one.
So just to recap, you would need the drum rack.
Yeah,
Uh,
so we have the plugin and a drum rack. In this case here, we have like a kit generator that I made especially for the Ableton users. Will be free of charge for the people that buy Baza drums.
okay.
But we speak about this later. So in this case, we have a kit and we send the pattern from here. Now we choose this model. If you
Mm.
choose the breakbeat, for example, it's completely changing it. When you press gen, basically based on the model, it's generating every time a new pattern. Uh, when I go back to the house again, if you press it, it's generating again a new pattern. Here you have the swing, like the classical swing that I like to use it. What is special about this plugin is that you have the option on every instrument, you have density. So what it means, I will let's use the density, the old density. So I'll put it to 0. So now we have no notes.
Right.
So when you start to put a little bit of value, you start to populate the pattern. So as much as you activate it, it add more nodes to the pattern. So this is very good when you, for example, you like a pattern and you want to have many versions of that pattern that they are simplified for like fills or some parts that you need a little bit of space out patterns. You
Or
just
maybe
do
for
this.
different parts of the track, maybe for the
Exactly,
breakdown and
exactly,
drop and so on.
exactly.
Great.
Also with velocity, we are talking now for the general density and velocity, right? Velocity is emphasized the difference between the velocity of the pattern. So now it's a little bit aggressive.
Hmm.
And now when you put it more, you have it more in front, and the difference between the hits, the difference of the value of the velocity is higher. Then you have the same principles for the instruments, for the individual instruments. So now we have the heads and the density. And now,
Very easily customizable, actually.
yeah,
Love that.
exactly. And when you like something, even you are in the middle of the things, you just take the MIDI and put the pattern here, and you have it already.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very easy to adapt in your DAW to work with it. You don't have to be an engineer. Actually, you don't have to understand any pattern parameter. You just have to know these very simple things. And so okay, so when you press generate, it always generates a new pattern. If you don't like any instrument, here the square, you close it. You close that particular instrument. So now we have just the kick, right? When you want something different, for example, here you don't like the close hat, you press on it, and now it's giving you just that. It's generating you based on the model you have, just that instrument. So you have another option when you put this and you generate, is everything is generated less this. So when you do this trick here with the red square, everything is generated less this. So basically you can start the reverse. You isolate something that you like and then you generate the rest.
So you can build up a whole new groove. Let's say you like the
Exactly.
kick pattern and the snare, but the rest doesn't really
Exactly.
sound right.
So you like a combination between of them and the rest you don't like, so you want to start from there. So you go with this. Okay. Again, with density and velocity we discussed about. The shift, what is doing shift? Shift is basically is shifting one bit related to the other ones. So when you feel something is not right but sounds good but is not right, you can shift it. So now I shift the kick and the snare versus the heads and the rest of the groove. This is more for experimenting this stuff, but I want to show you all the. Here again are the one shots that you have the notes. So now I can send the kick to other. Another instrument.
Right. Okay. So you okay. Okay. Great. So you can use also a combination of your own samples plus the default
Exactly.
ones that you have.
Exactly. So this is also very useful when you send it to an old drum machine or a sampler that has different notes that are fitting with that particular kit. You know.
So also it can be sent to hardware, not just the default.
Exactly. So you can use any drum module or drum machine or sampler that has MIDI, and you can feed the notes with that. So basically, I had some old cork here, and I use it, and I never use it because of this, because it was a pain in the ass. So with this was so easy. I just do it, and it's because it was hard to me to do it in the piano roll. You know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You have an option to randomize. So when you press randomize, it's randomizing all the parameters based on some tweaking that you do in the tools. So you have ranges that you can use. So now I randomize it, and we randomize including the model. Now I can press shift and randomize and come back to the initial state. And now when I press again, this is for block creativity. When you really don't know what to start, you go from here.
Yes.
You just press.
It happens to everybody sometimes. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you really want to go out of your usual type of doing it. So that was the idea actually with the whole concept of our plugins and the future plugins, is that you have to use your ears when something is good and you like it, and not necessarily to program something because you know that is good. You know, sometimes it's somehow including the DJ way of thinking into the production equation. You know, sometimes you generate stuff based on something that sounds good, that you know that sounds good, and when you hear something that you like, you use it and you feel, this will give me a new inspiration, a new way of doing a new type of song, you know. So in the end, our Groovebox, if we'll get there in a few years, will be about this. So you will be the conductor, and you don't have to know almost anything about programming. You use just your ears, but it will get very easy to a lot of ideas, you know.
I love it. It's very straightforward, and it's focused on producing and doing things quickly and intuitively, which helps the creative process a lot in my personal opinion.
In the end, that was how the project started. When I started in 2014, for me it was very boring to start programming patterns. I mean, it's fun, but in some point you repeat yourself and you feel that you lose time, you know.
Yes.
Also choosing one shot samples is like losing like 1 hour to do like a groove. instead of going to other stuff that was maybe more interesting, like sound design
Especially
or
inspiration
things.
sometimes just comes, and you just need to get the most out of it while you're inspired in the moment, rather than lose your momentum
Exactly,
clicking
exactly,
away.
because
Yeah.
for example, you have a bass in your mind and you want to use it in the context of a group, and then you start to do the groove and then you forgot the idea, you lose the vibe of the bass, so
Yes.
so that was the idea, and hopefully people will go into this idea. Then you have the option to quit some instruments, and then here you have three square. That means you can add a straight 4-on-the-4 kick,
Hmm.
a snare, and the open hat, that it's the 2 and 4, the classical. So
Right.
basically, uh, when you have this, you can use any of the models, even the ones that are a little bit different from the 4-on-the-4, but they have these three patterns that they always remain. So when you generate now, you can go to different type of, for
And
example,
those
now
don't
it's a,
stay static as set.
yeah, those are static. So now, for example, the foundation of the groove is a breakbeat, but I have these three patterns that are for the classical house. So
Yes,
when
the
I
4 by
combine
4
them,
yes.
now, for example, I lock the breakbeat, and now I generate on top of those.
Already hearing some very interesting ideas right there.
Yeah, exactly. You need to try many times. I mean, from my statistic, maximum 4 generations, you find something at least I like.
Yes.
So you see, like, and now let me show you the variation. So now we have just one variation. Every time you generate, the plugin generate 8 variations. That are the difference between them is really small, and I tell you why. So we have 8. When you generate and is parallel here, choose the variations are really similar one to each other. The idea behind it is like this: when you go here in the tools, when you have this tool selected, it means that when you activate variation, it will play first variation and then the second one. So in my experience, a nice groove, it has 16 steps, but then you double that 16 steps, and the second part of the 16 steps you change something a bit, and then you have like more interesting. It's not that boring to be just 16 steps. So now it's basically playing 2 variations of the same one. Of course, you can go and choose another one. You see with the crash. Then you can choose 4 if you want.
Hmm.
But you see, it has almost the same vibe.
Yes. But it
Because
sounds more human because of all these little changes.
yeah, exactly. So basically, you can choose all of them. So it's going. Then what means variation speed when you go to tools is also related to the variations. Let me simplify for you to understand. Variation speed means that when the first variation is played full, then the second one is played. So we saw this potential and say, why not adding something special to it? So we did this. So now what it's doing is interpolating the patterns. So this is how I started back in 2014. I interpolate all my patterns that we had from the tracks, and I give me variations. So now when you see, it's playing half of the pattern and then it's going back to the other one. You see? So basically, if you put more speed, it's interpolating. So now it's playing a bit of one and then a bit of the other one.
Right.
So what we'll do now, we will go to beam, and when I generate, basically in beam mode, is the variations are quite different one to each other. So this is,
Okay, you
you
can hear
see,
it straight away. Yes.
yeah. So now when I put one, so it's playing one, and then when I put the speed, so yeah, let's hear it individually. So this is the one, then the second. So you see, it's totally. Of course, if you like some of the variations, for example, you like three, you drop three here. You like five, you drag five here, so you can use it. So then you can delete the plugin, and you have all these MIDI patterns that you can use in your song.
Which are
This is
again
it.
very unique. So
Yeah, it's made for being a collaboration between me that I make music all the time, and I hit my with the head on the wall, let's say, with all this technical stuff that is stopping your creativity. Also, because Michael is a very creative in programming and ideas, it was a perfect match to try to put everything in the plugin to make it really easy to use. Yeah, so then the swing, that this is it's cloned the swing of 909.
Yes.
In the future, we'll have other swings. I have a very special machine in my studio. It's called the Yamaha QI70. It has 99 types of swing. So we will try to, in the future, to use some of that because they are really interesting. So that will be also very unique for the plugins. The length, you can have how long is the pattern in steps,
right.
but this is more for adventurous stuff because I feel that using variations is more interesting than using 32 steps, but it's here and you can use it, for example, for this type of things. Let me stop. So basically now you see, you can obviously stay in sync with the plugin. You see,
You can do cool little build-ups and
exactly. And again, you can have this pattern just like that, and you put it here. And, so for like middle of the tracks or very interesting stuff, also like eight stuff.
yeah, I think your drums will never be static when using this plugin. There's always gonna be
Yeah, of course. And another variation that you can use, you have this option in Ableton, a list. You have all these parameters that are written here. So if you have an LFO, for example, imagine that you can modulate that in real time. So imagine all this stuff modulating in real time and creating variations of it, like including changing the model and in real time.
Yeah, this is really nice because from my production experience, the way when I use sometimes a combination of drum hits or loops, I sometimes really need to go into, let's say, the nitty-gritty little details to make sure that I have something happening all the time and my drums are not static, and this will save me a lot of time when doing it. So this could be something that producers could
exactly,
find
for sure
helpful as
this
well.
will help you.
Yes.
And also we have in the palm line another plugin that I think will be like a third or fourth plugin in our list. It's called Density, and Density will be is starting the almost like this, but will starting adding. So imagine this and adding values to a pattern,
Hmm.
like individual pattern. So then you can do drum rolls, you can do hi-hat rolls and so on, and that will add also another dimension. So basically this in combination with that one we really create like a full drum spectrum of for songs and even for live acts.
Yes.
Actually, a very incipient version of this plugin. I use it after pandemic in my live acts because it give me exactly this dynamic of not staying to programming live because you have to be attentive to other stuff, you know. So I use that plugin like density with a MIDI controller to add like drum rolls, and the drum rolls were perfect. They were not just random notes added; they were added by a logic that was learned by machine learning, you know, by AI, you know.
Yes.
So the quality
Yes.
of the patterns were really good when doing that.
And George, could we maybe before we finish up the meeting, maybe can you shortly explain? I believe the focus part on the plugin, maybe there was, and
Yeah,
the chaos
so
part.
the yeah, true. So there are four parameters that are very specific for the AI.
Mm-hmm.
They are really technical. I encourage the people not to think about the technical stuff because it's a little bit productive with the
Right.
idea of the plugin. But
Yeah.
for the adventurous people and for them to understand, is good to know. So continuity is basically when it's generating a pattern, is taking in consideration one, two, or more patterns from the or thousands of patterns from the AI that we have, right?
Mhm.
So when it's full, it's taking in consideration a lot of context.
Right.
When it's zero, it's thinking to just a few patterns, you know. So the generated stuff is more related to something that already existed.
And would that, George,
When
have a effect on, for example, the CPU performance, or not really?
No, no, no. We
Okay,
are lucky because Michael did everything in C++ and is really, really low consumption. So
that's
there
great.
is what you see here is the sampler, the drum sampler. It has nothing to do with the plugin. The plugin is basically almost zero all the time.
That's great. So you get
So
all those possibilities, but you are not
yeah,
overloading your computer at the same
no,
time.
no, no. So you can use. I did a test. I used 16
Hmm.
plugins
Hmm.
and just 1-2%. So it's really low.
That's
You know.
amazing.
Yeah. The focus is about how tight the pattern it is. When you go to the full maximum, you start to be too experimenting.
Hmm.
The chaos when you keep it to zero is not risking at all. I speak in this words for people to understand. When you go to chaos, you start to experimenting a lot and doing stuff that is not normally into the training stuff, you know. And continue is a really interesting stuff. It's basically when you are zero and you generate another stuff, is generating a totally new stuff. When you go to maximum, it's trying to keep the vibe of the existent pattern that was before. So this
Hmm.
is again good for arrangements. So you generate something and then you put a little bit down and then generate and then you have a little bit variation and you save it, you know.
So all the way to 16 will be similar to what you have already, and then the more
Exactly.
you go
Almost
down, the
similar.
difference
Almost
will be
similar. Yeah. Yeah.
more
When it's
pronounced.
zero, is completely different. Always is
Right.
completely different based on the model that you have choose here.
Understood. Okay,
Yeah. So
that's
this is related to Baza drums and the small attention to the actual Baza drums users or the future Baza drums. Uh, before we'll have a drum sampler because in our plan is to do a drum sampler that will have a lot of stuff.
yeah.
I realized that I really want to help the Baza drums people to use it immediately without thinking what sample I can put on the drum rack or what drum machine I will use.
Yeah.
So because of this and because of the Ableton 12 that is really really powerful, I did a custom instrument MIDI rack
Hmm.
that it's made just with MIDI devices, so it's no Max for Life used.
Hmm.
So everything here is matched with Baza drum. So for example, now we play a pattern, and when I press random here, any instrument in the Baza drums will be changed completely. So have a totally new kit, drum kit.
Okay.
Obviously, I curated with my own samples. So the user will have two options. They will receive this for free when
Hmm.
they buy the Baza drums, and the actual user will send them when it's finished, because now we have a small tweak to do it with it. So, or for the people that really don't want to stay uploading the samples like I did. So basically, you have these instruments, 11
Hmm.
instruments, and you on every drum rack you upload your own samples. So here there are
Right.
128 samples of kicks, 128 of snares, and so on. You just drag them once and you save it, and that's it. So for those people that don't want to do this because they receive it without the samples, obviously,
Hmm.
because the samples are individual stuff and everybody bought their own samples. Um, I can send them my project with the routing and everything. That includes also very nifty stuff that you can record your own. So basically, you have this routing with a press of a button. You start record everything: the pattern, MIDI pattern, and the one shot in one take. So when you like something, you don't have to even lose time dragging the pattern. You just record everything.
That's great.
And then when you press a button, you have it, and you just have the loops, audio loops, and use it in your. Now, when you hear it, you don't hear it generated, you hear it
You hear the
from
audio
the
recorded. Yeah, I saw
recorded.
the
It
recording.
just so this project, Ableton project, will be sent for the interested people. They will receive for sure the key generator without the samples. They just need to drop it, or again, I can send them the project. So now a small thing I will press, because I put two keys on the random. I will generate both the patterns and the drum kit in the same time. Without not even basically you can try to fit your already song trying to do this stuff, you know?
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, so the future plans are the next one will be a bass generator. We aim to do one of the best bass generator on the market for electronic music. So it will not be algorithmic like Sting or other type of Max for Life devices. This will be really based on AI and training and curated by us. Also, the interface will be very easy and very easy to drag and drop your MIDI stuff. And then a third plugin that will come later, maybe before summer, will be a totally unique plugin. It's called Counterpoint. And we are really proud about that one, but we want to have a base before that. So that one will be like we took the concept of Bach. So, for example, you have a drum pattern that you like, and you want to have a bass pattern that is fitting with them.
Hmm.
Then you intervene with this plugin between the drums and the bass generator. And when you press a button, basically the AI calculate the mathematics of the drums pattern and generate a bass that is fitting perfectly with that drums. When
So
you change the
basically, like a
drums,
bridge between the two.
exactly. So when you change the drums, the patterns, then the bass will follow, because you realize that something changed into the pattern. And then you have bass to melody, melody to other melody. So in the end, you have like an ecosystem of stuff that you can put together, and you can, like create stuff, music, inspiring, and let your ear be the judge what is good and what is bad, even if you
Right.
don't really program it.
And this is just before we wrap up, this is something that I really like and I believe in, because lately AI has been very dominant in many industries, and I really like it when it's useful and when the person makes the ultimate decision. It just aids him
Exactly.
but
That,
doesn't take
that's
away the creativity from the whole process.
that's the thing. I don't like this stuff that they basically generate a full song that has no personality. Basically, the computer judge for you the whole song. Here you have you choose what is good and what is bad, and then you generate it dynamically. You choose your own sounds, your own part from the arrangement and so on.
Okay, great. And George, before we
Okay.
finish, last thing, can you please let the viewers know where they can buy Baza drums, of course, if they would like to
Yeah,
try it
of
out?
course. So the Baza drums, it's basically it's called Baza.run. Maybe I can.
I'll link in the description of the video as well for anybody who wants
Yeah,
to see it.
I will open now if you can see it. This is
Hmm.
our website. So you have the plugin.
Right.
Also, you can have like artist packs if you want. We have some loops, minimal loops that we did, and also there is an interesting TR8 kit creator. This is another stuff that is free
Hmm.
and is very good for creating kits for Roland TR8 the TR8s. Sorry.
Hmm. Okay, great. So, thank you very much for the nice conversation. I'm definitely going
Thank
to
you,
explore it
Robin.
further on the weekend. I'll have a studio session, and
Nice.
yeah, I hope to see you soon with some of the upcoming stuff. And thanks again. Have a
Thank
good
you
one.
again, and thank you for the opportunity, Robin. And keep in touch.
Keep in
Looking
touch.
forward to collaborate for the future.